What's going on, everybody? My name is Shawn Stevenson, and I'm just here really quickly to talk with you guys about the NFL and the Rooney Rule. If you don't know what the NFL Rooney Rule is, it is a policy in the National Football League that requires owners to interview minority candidates, both African American and of other races, for head coaching and senior football operation jobs in the National Football League. Now, if you've been on social media of late, or if you've been watching television, ESPN, Fox Sports, and just around the overall web, there's been a lot of discussion about the controversy of the Rooney Rule and the legitimacy of it when it comes to offering positions or hiring of minority coaches. Now, in the most recent weeks, we have seen the head coaching search go on, and the only minority hiring that we have seen was with the Washington Redskins for Ron Rivera. With their interview, their situation was a little bit different, where they only interviewed one head coach for the position, but with Ron Rivera being a minority coach, they still sufficed when it came to the Rooney Rule. When you look at the other positions, there are situations like the Dallas Cowboys, they interviewed Marvin Lewis for the position, and then the only other black candidate that was interviewed for these head coaching vacancies was Eric Bieniemy, who was the Chiefs offensive coordinator currently. And just looking at the situation as a whole, there definitely should be some type of revision or some type of change that should be made to the Rooney Rule. And when you do take a look at the Rooney Rule, it was something that was created in 2002 that was a reaction to the firings of both Tony Dungy and Dennis Green. At the time, Tony Dungy did have a winning season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Dennis Green, who had his first losing season in over 10 years with the Minnesota Vikings, they were both relieved from their positions. And for most people, they just feel like, the NFL is a business, people are let go and things are changed. But when we just look at it from a retrospect of what it's like for African Americans and other minorities, they're typically on a shorter leash than other candidates for other positions. People are given more time to either, fail or to find their footing in order to get to success. And that's not a opportunity or a luxury that a lot of minority coaches are given. But when it comes to quote unquote white candidates for head coaching positions, they're given, some jobs they may not be as qualified as other minority candidates, or they'll be given longer, opportunities in order for them to be successful or stay with the team. And one of the best examples I can say with this is when you look at Jim Caldwell. And with Jim Caldwell in this past head coaching search, he wasn't even given an interview. Now, for someone that has an overall running record with the Indianapolis Colts, who were the 2009 AFC champions, and they also went to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they lost when Jim Caldwell was the head coach, and then he had winning seasons with them. Obviously, he did have a bad year in his last year, but that was also with the situation where Peyton Manning was injured. He didn't play the whole season, and Curtis Painter was the quarterback, and then they released Jim Caldwell, and then they started a new era with Andrew Luck, who just recently retired. And when you look at the work that he did with the Detroit Lions, he finished with a record of 36-28, and he was actually given less time than the Eagles defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, who also just interviewed for the Cleveland Browns job. And when you look at things like that, where you look at the same team and essentially almost the same situations where Matthew Stafford is the quarterback, and you have two different levels of success, but other candidates, one that's not a minority, was given at least an interview in situations like that. And when you take a look at the offseason with Eric Bieniemy and Marvin Lewis being the only black coaches that were interviewed for these head coaching vacancies, it really brings to question, what is the standard that we're looking for when it comes to how is someone really given a true opportunity, and what makes the Rooney Rule just something of a standard? Okay, they just have to have an interview, but are these people really given an equal chance to really earn this job? A good example of this is when you look at the Carolina Panthers. So the Carolina Panthers owner, David Tepper, when he decided to make Matt Rule, who was the former coach of Baylor for college football, the head coach for their team, there was a quote saying that Matt Rule reminded him of himself. Now, when you take a look at it, there aren't any black owners in the NFL. So by one, you're already brought down a notch by the fact that you don't look like the person that's hiring you. So there's not a lot of people that are going to be placed in situations, when you're having an interview with someone and they say, you know what, you just remind me of me. Obviously there might be personality traits or characteristic traits that you provide, but when it just comes to a look, if we're being honest, we even take this a step back from the NFL. We can bring it down to a more social level. Whenever you're somewhere, you typically feel most comfortable with the people that look just like you. But when you take it, further, when you're looking at organizations, you have to go past what just makes you feel comfortable and who's going to place you in the best situation to succeed, essentially, because that's what all organizations want to do. And that's where part of the Rooney Rule it lacks, is that you don't have a lot of, black coaches or senior assistants or people in senior football operations that understand where these players are coming from or their thinking and their prior experiences. When you look at the league is over 70% black, and it's not reflected in those positions. Only have one black general manager in the NFL, which is Chris Greer, who is the general manager for the Miami Dolphins, who also have a black coach in Brian Flores. That's a very unique situation where you have a black GM and a black head coach. And towards the tail end of the year, the Miami Dolphins were performing really well. Yes, you want to build an organization, you want to build a culture, but part of that culture is also realizing who are the people that are in the building. Now, this is not me saying that white coaches or other coaches of other races aren't able to build or to relate to players, but the opportunities that are available to them should be equal for everyone in these situations. With looking at the Rooney Rule as a whole and just the history of the NFL, it does lack the continuity of giving people of color the necessary opportunities or being more willing to take a step back and really just step outside of your bubble. And I feel like that's what it comes down to for a lot of these ownerships. When you look at the Rooney Rule and the controversy that happened back in 2012, where there were 8 head coach vacancies and 7 general manager vacancies, and there was not a single minority hired for those positions, and you start to wonder and question, why are these people not given, a true opportunity to really change the organization? Does it have more to do with, this is what just makes me comfortable? And a lot of people make decisions, again, what makes them feel comfortable. And going back to the social perspective of, you always feel comfortable with people that look like you. But part of being, providing equality and giving people their due opportunities is stepping out of your comfort zone. Because when it comes down to it, success isn't just determined by your skin color or by your look, but it is determined by, one, your leadership, your work ethic, and the things that you provide as a whole, more than just what you're going to present from people based off your skin color. There are some changes that need to be made to the Rooney Rule, and to figure out how the NFL as a whole can decide this is the best course of action that we can take to help make the league more diverse and make it be more of a reflection of the people that play that sport. Once again, my name is Shawn Stevenson. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Your thoughts of the NFL Rooney Rule. Do you agree with it? Do you feel like there should be some changes? And I'm excited to see what conversations are going to be had in the comment section. See you guys later. Peace.